Commander Zekthor of the Valerian Imperium had conquered 47 worlds. His chitinous exoskeleton bore the scars of 100 battles, and his 4 eyes had witnessed species far stronger than himself bow before his tactical brilliance. He was feared across 3 sectors, a legend whispered in the dark corners of space stations and military academies alike. But Commander Zekthor had never met a human. The trading outpost on Kepler 442b was neutral territory, a demilitarized zone where species from across the galaxy came to broker deals, exchange information, and occasionally settle disputes through diplomacy rather than warfare. The domed city sparkled beneath alien stars, its markets filled with the chittering, buzzing, and whistling of 1,000 different languages. Marcus Chen was there on shore leave. His freighter docked for repairs after a difficult cargo run through the Perseid belt. He was average by human standards, 1.8 meters tall, brown eyes, calloused hands from years of manual labor. He wore a simple gray jumpsuit and carried no visible weapons. To the dozens of alien species around him, he was unremarkable, just another creature from that strange little world called Earth. Zekthor noticed him immediately, though not for any particular reason. The human was standing near a beverage vendor, drinking something that steamed in the cold station air. What drew Zekthor's attention was the crowd parting around the human, the subtle way other species gave him space. The commander's tactical mind noted this. Prey animals created distance from predators, even when those predators showed no hostile intent. The confrontation began over nothing. A Valerian soldier, drunk on fermented spore milk, bumped into Marcus and spilled his coffee. The human said nothing, simply stepped aside. But the soldier, emboldened by his commander's presence and the intoxicating fluid coursing through his system, saw an opportunity to impress. "Watch where you stand, Deathworlder," the soldier hissed, his translator unit making the insult clear in Standard Galactic. Marcus raised his hands, palms out. "No trouble, friend. Just an accident." But Zekthor, watching from across the marketplace, saw something else. He saw his soldier being deferential, almost apologetic to a creature from a world classified as Deathworld Class 12, one of the most hostile environments in known space. It was unacceptable. The Valerian Imperium did not apologize. They did not show weakness. The commander strode forward, his boots clanging against the metal deck plating. The crowd, sensing violence, melted away like water before hot oil. Even the station's security forces seemed to vanish into the walls. "You dare speak to a Valerian warrior with such arrogance?" Zekthor's voice boomed through his translator, echoing across the suddenly silent marketplace. Marcus turned slowly, his expression neutral. "I don't want any trouble, Commander. Your soldier and I just had a misunderstanding." "A misunderstanding?" Zekthor's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement. "I see a primitive mammal who needs to learn his place in the galactic hierarchy. What happened next would be analyzed by xenobiologists and military strategists for decades to come." Zekthor struck Marcus Chen across the face with the back of his primary manipulator appendage, a blow that would have shattered the skull of a Diluvian or cracked the carapace of a Threne. It was meant to be a lesson, a public humiliation that would remind lesser species of their position. Marcus's head snapped to the side. A thin line of red blood appeared at the corner of his mouth. For exactly 2.3 seconds he remained motionless, his head still turned from the impact. Then he looked back at Zekthor, and the commander saw something in those brown eyes that sent a primordial shiver through his nervous system. Something that evolution had burned into the survival instincts of prey species across the galaxy. He saw a predator awaken. What followed lasted less than 5 seconds, but it was captured by 17 different recording devices from multiple angles. Later, the footage would be studied frame by frame in military academies as a case study in human combat efficiency. Marcus moved. His right hand shot forward, fingers extended, and struck Zekthor's primary breathing spiracle with surgical precision. The commander's breath exploded from his lungs. Before he could recover, Marcus's left elbow came around in a devastating arc, connecting with the thin armor plating that protected Zekthor's neural cluster. Bone, or the Valerian equivalent, cracked audibly. Zekthor tried to bring his weapon up, but his neural pathways were already misfiring, his limbs responding a fraction too slowly. Marcus caught the commander's manipulator appendage, twisted it with mechanical efficiency, and used Zekthor's own momentum to drive him face first into the deck. The sound was wet and final. When Marcus stood up, he was holding Zekthor's head in his right hand, separated from the body by what forensic analysts would later determine was a combination of rotational force and pressure applied to specific weak points in Valerian anatomy. The entire exchange had taken 4.7 seconds from the moment Marcus moved to the moment Zekthor's consciousness ceased. The marketplace was silent. The human stood there, blood on his jumpsuit, the commander's head dripping ichor onto the deck, his chest rising and falling with exertion that seemed almost casual. "I didn't want trouble," Marcus said quietly, his voice carrying in the absolute silence. He dropped the head, which rolled twice before coming to rest against a merchant's stall. The Valerian soldiers, 3 of them, stood frozen. Every instinct screamed at them to attack, to avenge their commander. But deeper instincts, older instincts, whispered a different message. Run. They ran. By the time station security arrived, Marcus was gone, his freighter cleared for departure with unusual haste. The station master, a wizened Palixian who had seen centuries of conflict, ordered the footage distributed throughout the local networks with a simple message. The humans call their world Earth. They call themselves the Gentle Ones. Remember what their Gentle Ones can do. Within 48 hours, the footage had spread across the galaxy. Within a week, the Valerian Imperium issued a formal apology to the Terran Federation and withdrew from 3 disputed territories. Within a month, human mercenaries found their services in unprecedented demand, their rates tripling overnight. And somewhere in the shipping lanes between Kepler 442b and the Sol system, Marcus Chen piloted his freighter toward home, unaware that he had fundamentally altered the balance of galactic power with 4.7 seconds of violence. He had simply defended himself, the way any human would. The galaxy, however, saw something else entirely. They saw a Deathworlder reminded why that classification existed. They saw what happened when evolution built a persistence hunter, gave it opposable thumbs and abstract reasoning, and then had the audacity to teach it restraint. They saw what happened when that restraint ended. Commander Zekthor of the Valerian Imperium had conquered 47 worlds. His mistake was thinking a human was just another conquest. His legacy was teaching the galaxy a lesson that would echo for generations. Never strike a human unless you're prepared for them to strike back, because on Deathworlds, the Gentle Ones survive by being the most dangerous thing in the room when they need to be.